Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Vertical Film School podcast. Today's guest professor is Kent Kasper. Kent is a former New York City Assistant District Attorney, a Fortune 500 corporate trainer, an online criminal law professor, a legal and technical consultant on music videos, and a national headlining stand up comedian for 20 years. For nearly 18 years, he has been one of LA's top acting coaches, specializing in branding, marketing, and packaging. More recently, he's become one of the few coaches in the country actively working in and coaching for vertical drama. His students have collectively booked over 75, so somewhere between 75 to 100 vertical dramas. Kent himself has actually booked about 8 to 10 vertical dramas. His philosophy is don't fight your type, master it. So, ladies and gentlemen, pencils down, phones up. The professor is in. Kent, welcome to school.
Oh, thank you. You left out. I've been a working actor almost 40 years,
That's right.
and I was Dr. Phil's celebrity lookalike for 18 years.
Oh, wow. Wow. What a
Yeah.
varied career you've had.
Put your
And
pencil put your pencils down. You must have a very old audience because no young kids use pencils anymore.
yeah, I know, right? I remember when I was in college and I was writing with
Yeah.
pencil, so I guess
You,
everybody's on the
yeah,
laptop now.
yeah. You remember that? Number two pencil. You
Number two
couldn't
pencil.
you,
Yeah,
you couldn't come in with a one. You couldn't come in with a three. It had to be a
the
number
number
two
two
pencil.
pencil. Exactly right.
In my head, I as a kid, number two pencil, number two pencil. What's so amazing about this number two pencil?
Exactly right. Yeah, so going forward, I'll be sure to remember everybody uses their laptops and
Yeah, I never forget
iPads
when I was
now.
when I was in law school. Whenever the exam was over at college, I'd say, "Put down your pencils." Like, oh, I hear that word pencils. Put down your pencils.
So now, Kent, let's get to know a little bit about you from your background, right? You left law to go do stand-up comedy, and you did stand up for quite a long time, not just like in comedy clubs, but like on the streets of New York. Your research tells me that you actually spent 3 summers doing street comedy.
Yeah, yeah.
How was that?
I actually started to do stand up my last year or two in college in the Catskill Mountains. I started doing the amateur shows at the Concord Hotel and all over the Catskills, and I liked it. So I went back to college. On my senior year, I was working at all the coffee shops, and you know, just pounding away, not really getting very far, but just in liking it. Then I said, you know what? I'm not going to go to law school right out of college. I'm going to spend a couple of years to do stand up. So I left college in '78. And from '78 to '81, I did stand up comedy in New York City. And 3 of those summers, I worked the streets of New York. I used to work Central Park by the lake. I used to work Greenwich Village by Bleecker Street Theater. I used to work Columbus Avenue. And I used to pass the hat. You
Mm,
literally perform. So instead of sitting in comedy clubs all night, getting up in front of drunks at 3 o'clock in the morning, because I passed my improv audition, my Catch a Rising Star audition, my comedy store, comedy comic strip, you would sit around till 3 o'clock in the morning and you would never get up. So I said, how am I ever going to learn how to be a comedian by not getting up? So
mm.
my buddy and I decided, we used to watch this amazing comedian, Charlie Barnett. I don't know if you know Charlie Barnett. Charlie
No.
Barnett was like the Richard Pryor of the streets. He
Wow.
used to get crowds of 3, 4, 5,000. And
Wow.
I used to watch with my buddy going, God, look at this guy. He was actually the original choice for Saturday Night Live, but he couldn't read.
I
And
remember that story. Yeah, I
yes,
remember the
and they
story.
wound up giving it to Eddie Murphy. But I used
Yes.
to watch him and go, God almighty, if we can get even a little bit of this kind of crowd. So we decided not to compete with him. He was, you couldn't compete with him. We found our spots. And every night, 2, 3, 4 hours in the summer, we'd get out there, we'd pass the hat. I'd do 6, 7, 10, 12 sets a night. I was making my rent by passing the hat. I met celebrities. It was unbelievable. I did a couple of student films for people. I met big name people on the street. I met De Niro. I met a lot of people. So I developed probably in 3 summers what would have taken me 10 years working
Wow.
the clubs. And then '82, I decided to go to law school. So I put about 4 years in before I went to law school.
Wow. Now, so at what point did you realize that everything boils down to one thing, the audience?
Well, I mean, as a comedian, I mean, see, you could be a lousy singer or a lousy musician, and people are going to applaud at the end, right? But laughter, nobody fakes a laugh. You have
Mm,
to earn a laugh. A laugh is like a sneeze. A laugh is like, an orgasm. You can't fake it. I guess some women can, but you have to earn the laugh,
yeah.
and there's no midpoint. So when you're up there, it's either silent or there's a laugh, and you learn that in order to get that laugh, you have to be a craftsman. Nobody laughs out of sympathy. They may applaud out of sympathy. So working the street taught me stage presence. It taught me to have guts and balls. I chased buses. I had homeless people dealing with. So when I got into the club, it was almost easy for me because I
Mm,
had to deal with a couple of drunks here or there. And by year number 2 or 3, I was earning my living as a comedian. But to this day, I don't think there's anything in my life compares to being on stage with a microphone and having people laugh for 40, 50 minutes. It's just like, it's heaven. There's nothing even like it. You can't even describe it unless you've ever done it.
okay. So now, when you went to law school after being a stand-up on the streets, did you immediately start practicing law, or did you go to LA? At what
Well, I
point did
miss.
you
Well,
practice law
I
and then
missed.
move to LA?
I actually missed it. I'm a pretty smart guy. I went to an all-black law school, and I got a minority scholarship. Only a smart Jewish guy would do that, right? I went to Thurgood Marshall School of Law, and I wound up interning at the Houston DA's office, Harris
Mm,
County. And I liked it. I went, this is kind of fun. This being a prosecutor. So some guy took me under his wing, and for two years, I sat in like murder trials. As a
mm,
student, I sat in on capital murders. I went, damn, this is exciting. But I still miss stand up, you know.
gotcha.
But but I said, all right, this is not a bad thing. I mean, maybe I'll include it in my life. So I graduated, and I interviewed at a lot of DA's offices, and everybody said you're never going to get a job. They only take from Harvard, Yale, Princeton, George Washington, and your law school was pretty low on the totem pole. I said, you know what? Maybe, but I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm going to get in that way. And they all
Mm,
laughed, going, your grades are pretty crappy. The law school is not that good. And what are you going to do? Well, I decided I would attack it as a stand-up comedian. I sent in my stand-up comedy tape. I sent in my demo.
really?
Who does this from law school?
I
So they were
know.
like, this guy's got to be a nut. So I interviewed at a lot of them. I interviewed in the Nassau County DA. They took a pass. Suffolk County DA. They took a pass. Uh, New York DA took a pass. So almost everybody took a pass except for Brooklyn and the Bronx. Brooklyn, I made it to the fifth interview, but I screwed up on a question about jury selection. I knew I was dead. And I was down to one, the Bronx DA's office. I used to make a joke about the Bronx. I'd say, the only place in the world where the jury's more dangerous than the defendant. Okay? My first trial, the defendant walked, the jury got 20 years. So on my fifth interview, you had to go for like five. I mean, never
Mm,
forget. It was like a cold day in maybe February of 81, 82. And there's like 8 DAs around the table, all looking very strong. They go, so looks like you were a stand-up comedian before you went to law school. Do you think you're funny? And I said, well, yes, sir. I mean, personally, I was always funny, and I decided to learn how to be a comedian, and I earned my living. So they looked at me like, so far, so good. Then another guy goes, why do you think you would be a good DA just because you're a comedian? And I drew the parallel between an audience and a jury. If you're too quick, you lose a jury. If you're too slow, as a comedian, and they like that parallel. And then one of the final two questions, a guy goes, do you think you can make us laugh? Now, let me tell you something. Stand-up comedy requires usually lighting, a microphone, people drinking, or even on the street, a certain feeling. A DA's office with 8 DAs in mid-afternoon isn't exactly a perfect audience.
mm,
So this guy goes, you think you can make us laugh? I knew if I said no, I was done. I have a master's degree, a college degree, and a law degree. That was going to be tossed out. If I said yes, I knew I'd have to prove it. But what they
Prove it.
didn't know was I was doing stand-up every night in clubs. So I was really, so I said yes. And the guy, another DA goes, you got 3 minutes. I jumped up on the conference table. I'm a pretty big guy anyway. I'm 6'4". Then
Mm.
I pull off my jacket. I'm on the conference table. I do 90 seconds of stand-up. And they started to laugh. Once I saw some laughter, a little voice went, I got a job as a New York City assistant DA because I made these son of a bitches laugh. 2 weeks later, we'd like to welcome you to the DA's office. They got 12,000 applicants. They took 44 people. A guy that almost failed out of law school by 1/10 of a point, a low-level law school. I got an offer. Why? Because I had the balls to jump up on that table and go for it. And I always tell people in my coaching, you got to go for it. Whatever it is, don't be traditional. Don't be safe. If I would have went traditional and safe, number one, I wouldn't have applied.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, I wouldn't have got the job. I would have listened to everybody.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, you want to be an actor? Don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to anybody telling you can't do it. Put on blinders. So I use that as an example of just forge your own path and let nobody get in your way, whatever it is.
Wow, that's a very interesting story. Somebody once told you while you were an actor in LA and you were trying to break in as a character actor that you shouldn't try to outperform your competitors. You should try to be the best Kent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I first came out here, I was dying in auditions. I was dying. I mean, I literally almost left town. I was so bad. And my buddy, I called him up. I said, I'm going to go home. I said, I was a comedian for 20 years. I'm dying on every audition. What am I doing wrong? He goes, you're trying to outact these people. They've been out here 20 years acting. You've been a comedian. You can't outact them. That's why you're dying. So I'll never forget what he said. He goes, nobody can out-Kent you. I go, what? He goes, they're going to outact you, but nobody's going to be a better Kent than you.
Mm-hmm.
And that rung in my head. Nobody can out-Kent me. They might outact me, but they can't out-Kent me. So to this day, 34 years later, when I do an audition, I tell my students, I say, rarely does the best person get the job or the most talented. The most right person gets it. The most right person. And if you honor who you are and you put your spin on it, nobody is going to out you. Don't try to be a better actor or better. It's not going to work. Okay? Be the best you there is, and there's no competition. So to this day, 5,000 auditions later, when I audition, I never feel there's competition because there's only one me. There's a 1,000,000,000 to 1 chance there's another Kent in the world, and probably a 10,000,000,000 to 1 chance there's another Kent auditioning. There might be bald guys. There might be guys from New York, but there's no other Kent out there. So I always tell my actors, there's no competition. Forget about it. If you can master who you are, you got a shot. I just had a huge audition the other day. 5 scenes with Samuel Jackson. I mean, holy shit. I mean, that is career making. I worked very hard on it, and I kicked butt on it. But after that, all I always tell my students, you can just book the room. They may want to go older. They may want to go younger. They may want to go Chinese. They may want to go female. They may want to go Hispanic. I can't help that. But I know that when I sent that in, I affected them. And if I'm the right guy, I'm either going to book the job or they're bringing me back. I always tell my actors, book the room. 2 things will happen. You'll get the job or you're coming back on another date. Like a woman, she may not want to marry you on that date, but you're coming back on another date.
Yeah.
So, case in point, the TV show Monk, I auditioned 17 times.
Wow, I love that.
I booked it on the 18th.
What episode were you in?
Yeah, I've auditioned for the Yellowstone shows about 8 times already.
Wow.
Nothing yet. So repetition. No such thing as rejection. The only rejection is not trying.
Yeah.
The only way you're not going to succeed is by quitting. When you quit, you have no shot. As long as you keep going, like you get hit, get up. Like the Rocky thing. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. I'm still standing. So I always tell my students, no rejection and there's no competition. You remove those two poisonous terms, then it's joyous.
Mm.
And that's why I've been coaching 18 years and coaching and acting 40, because I love coaching and I love acting. And I
Mm-hmm.
remove the poisonous, I call it mental diarrhea that kicks people out.
Wow. That's very interesting. So now, could you give us, because I'm still a little bit on your background simply because it's quite varied and interesting, right? From law, acting. Um, let's talk a little bit about being Dr. Phil's double.
Oh, yeah, that came about crazy. There's something called side hustles. Side hustles are things I tell actors to do that pays the bills. Out
Mm.
here, a good side hustle for girls is a lot of side hustle out here is driving for Uber Eats, Postmates. Every time you turn around, there's somebody delivering food. I live in a building where I see guys delivering one hamburger in a thing. Uber, Lyft, food delivery, house sitting, dog sitting, yoga. There's so many ways of being a waiter. You need to bring in money in between acting jobs. It's very
Hmm.
tough to make money. So I've always had really cool jobs, my side jobs. I was a comedy traffic school instructor in LA years ago. When you got a ticket, you had to attend comedy traffic school taught by comedians. I went to massage school, believe it or not, 30 years ago. I did massaging. Um, I did a little Uber and Lyft because I wanted to get acting students. So I like side hustles to bring in money. About 25 years ago, 22 years ago, my agent says there's a audition. They're looking for a guy to double Dr. Phil. I go, who's Dr. Phil? He goes, out. He was on Oprah. He's some bald guy and he may get a show. I went, what does it pay? So it paid okay. Well, I got there. It turns out the real Dr. Phil was there. And I was his stand-in. And I was like, all right, just a few $100. And then they asked me at the end of the thing, you want to be his stand-in for his show? And I went, what does it pay? I went, no, I can't do that. $150 a day. So a couple of months later, they called me again and they doubled it. I went, no, I don't want to stand in. Then I got smart and I hired a lookalike agent, a celebrity lookalike agent. And he negotiated a really good rate. Long story short, I wound up doubling him on his show, infomercials, private parties for about 18, 19 years. And that was one of the best side hustle jobs I ever could have had. Easy as pie, ridiculous, absurd, but couldn't have been easier. Just looking like somebody. I had a little mustache, a little hair in the side, faked the accent a little bit, and it paid a lot of bills. And to this day, whenever I coach somebody who looks like somebody, I help to get them in lookalike agencies. My last girl I coached, she looked like Wednesday Addams. I got her in with a lookalike agency. I had a guy about 2, 3 years ago. He looked like Will Smith. Got him with a lookalike agency. So anybody who comes to me and looks like somebody, no charge. I say, listen, I'm going to try to hook you up as a lookalike. It's a good side hustle.
So now, as we transition into the teaching aspect of the conversation, a lot of people have been saying that in Hollywood right now, it's difficult to get jobs. Studios are consolidating, vertical dramas are on the rise, and it could be, like you just said, a great option for a side hustle. What do you think about that?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, in other words, you're asking me about verticals for side hustles, right?
Yeah, verticals themselves and as side hustles for actors. Because
Yeah, I actually, it's funny. I was thinking about that. Yeah, they also call verticals micro mini dramas. A little more
yeah,
exciting,
hmm
micro mini dramas. Vertical almost sounds like you're a trapeze artist. It's actually a fantastic side hustle for a few reasons. I mean, you can sit in acting classes or pay tens of thousands of dollars at USC and UCLA, or you could sit in class for 6 to 10 hours a night, applauding like a seal and getting up for 3 minutes, or you can book a micro mini drama where you're working on the character, where you're memorizing the lines, where you're getting on the set, where you're dealing with camera angles and lighting and producers and directors. It is the best on the job training in the world. Is it stressful? Well, a little bit. I mean, it's not like you're on an NBC show or CBS show or you're on a Clint Eastwood movie. It's a little stressful because everybody's there and there's lighting and stuff. but it's the best on-the-job training in the world for a few reasons. First, connections. You're meeting directors, you're meeting producers, you're meeting the clients. Next, you're getting a chance to act, for God's sake. You're getting a chance to act. You're also working with other actors. Then you're making a couple of bucks. Then you're getting demo tape. Then let me tell you how many people can see these things. I worked on one about 3 weeks ago. The clients were Indian. I did a little research. 1.5 billion people in India. I did one a few months before that. 1.5 billion people in China. That's 3 billion people just in China and India. Then add the U.S., 350 million. That's 3.5 billion people have access to these. I mean, the Super Bowl only gets 60 million. You know what I mean? So where else can you have a cool gig like that and possibly be exposed to 1 billion or 2 billion people?
Yeah.
It's as far as your question about being a side hustle, can't get better. You can't get a better side hustle. It's the best invention of side hustle on the planet. Better than student films, because student films usually pay zero. And these are much more professional than student films usually. So as a side hustle, I recommend any actor pop into verticals. Best on-the-job training in the world.
And I don't mean to say this to demean or downgrade the industry. I'm just saying as a side hustle simply because it's a new format. It's been out for the last 2-3 years or so in North America. I think it's been out in China a lot more. So now that traditional film and TV is not like shaking out the way it was for most people, this is a good way to like transition.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, half the stages in Hollywood are empty.
Yeah.
A lot of quiz shows went to Europe, okay? I wrote down a couple of people that are doing verticals now. Tay Diggs is getting involved in one. Hannah Stocking, a woman with 75 million followers. Kim Kardashian is getting involved. People Magazine did a whole spread on the top vertical people. And I'll tell you something even crazier. About a year ago, I get a call I booked a vertical. And I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't really in the mood. Then I looked at the producer, and it was, forgot his name, Anthony Zwickis, forgot his name, the creator of CSI.
Wow.
I went, Anthony Zwickis, I forgot his name. I went, holy shit, the creator of CSI is doing this vertical? You got to be kidding me.
Wow.
That's when it hit me that big shots are now doing these things. So I didn't give a damn what it cost, what I got paid. I wanted to be seen.
Yes, Anthony Zwicker. Yeah.
Yeah, he actually invested in one of these companies. I think he's invested in, it's called Gamma Time. He's one of the investors in Gamma Time. Okay. And he is going to be doing 5 or 6 a year. And he is the creator of friggin' CSI.
Yeah.
And now big time producers are jumping in because it's a cash machine. It doesn't cost them a lot of money to make. Think again, I don't know the money of it. Maybe it runs them 50,000, 75,000.
Yeah, I've heard somewhere between 100K to 300K.
All right, 100 to 3. Then it goes out to 3 billion people on 30 different networks, and they're paying $1.99. Of course they're going to jump on it. Yeah. So now, guys that would sit around trying to get the new CSI are popping out 5 micro dramas a year, and they're buying stock in the company. So it's like air. You can't stop it now. It's just coming. A lot of people are negative about it. I mean, if you want the pros and cons, I can give it to you.
We can get to the pros and cons a little later. So, for example, I mentioned at the top of the show that one of your students booked around 75 or so.
No, she booked about 35. Her name is Laura. She came from Europe a couple of years ago. And every time I turn around, I talk to her. I host a lot of different parties. And every time I call her, she goes, I can't, I'm working on a vertical. And she's pretty. She's a good actress. She's done, I think, close to 40 in the last maybe year and a half, 2 years.
Wow.
And she books them. She's a nurse. She's a doctor. She's a nurse. She's a girlfriend. She's a nurse. I mean, she's attractive. Like I have one student of mine, okay? She's 22, really, really pretty. And she said, "Well, I don't know if I really want to do verticals. I'm from a Christian background and all this stuff. I don't want to do kissing scenes." I said, "Let me clear things up. Verticals are not porno.
Mm-hmm.
Verticals are not Playboy where they have simulated sex with, rubbing in this. Verticals are not smut movies.
Mm.
Yes, they have adult themes,
Some of
love,
them, not all of them.
health,
Yeah.
romance, but they're not porno. And almost every vertical has an intimacy director on that. You know what intimacy coordinators are?
Yes, yes, I do.
Yeah, they're now certified. So
Yeah.
they make sure there's nothing crazy going on. Even during violent scenes, they say he's going to put your hand on the neck. He's
Mm-hmm.
going to put your hand on the shoulder. So these things, I said to her, these are not smutty things. I mean, then she goes, 900 a day, 10 days, 9,000. 1,200 a day. She goes, why are they paying so much? I go, well, they're not paying that much to me because I'm the grandfather. I'm the doctor. I'm the lawyer. They're offering me $150, 200.
Mm.
I'm not the reason they're selling it to China and Japan. You are, because you're a beautiful girl. So 99% of the time, every one of these verticals will have a beautiful woman and a great looking guy, maybe two beautiful ladies, maybe two great looking guys. You have to have that to sell it.
Yeah.
They're not using me. Unless I'm a celebrity, I'm the guy the transition guy. So she goes, why do they pay so much? I go, because they need you. They need you. So she's at the point where she's broke, but then she sees 1,200 a day, 10 days, 12,000. She's living in Iowa, 900 a day, 20 days, 20,000.
Yeah.
I go, how are you going to turn that down? All right, you got to kiss it. You got to kiss him on the cheek. You got to hug him. You're not naked. No frontal nudity.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to show her that not only is this an amazing side hustle, but you get a chance to act. But if you're super, super, super prudy, you're not going to do that.
Mm. And it's also the chance to get in on the ground floor on a new career as well. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you, okay. But I said to her, you're crazy. I mean, what are you going to get a job in IHOP for $10 an hour? I mean, come on. And I got to tell you, every one of these things I've worked on, professional camera, professional lighting, the settings are not cheesy. I can't tell you how impressed I am. I almost thought in the beginning it would be like a guy with an iPhone.
Mm.
These are very professional,
Productions.
settings. I leave there going, I feel like I did a CBS show or an NBC show. I mean, they really take good care. And the product in the end is cheesy. They always have stupid titles. The billionaire married the nanny married the babysitter. I had sex with my uncle. The titles are cheesy. I mean, they're almost goofy, but it's love, health, power. Yeah. Everyone is the billionaire, billionaire this, the billionaire that, and I'm always the billionaire. But they're not paying me to be the goddamn billionaire, but I'm always the billionaire.
Yeah.
I'm the grandfather. I'm the billionaire. Sometimes I want to get to the set and I go, "Is anyone going to kiss me?" And they go, "No, not you."
That's not how it works as a billionaire.
Oh yeah, that's not on the billing. No one's kissing you. So all right,
Yeah. So what is she doing, your student who booked 30 verticals that others are not doing? Because
she's panicking over money. She doesn't even know if she can afford me after her package is up because she's from this Christian background.
No,
listen, there's nothing more powerful than saying no. Mm-hmm. I've had actors in the past say, I won't go on a set with this real smoke. I get it. Mm-hmm. I've had actors go on a set where they say, my child, I don't want him around that kind of violence. You have the right to say no. But I wasn't trying to sell her on it. I was just trying to sell her on the fact that it's not porn. It's not smut. It's not topless. There's no insinuated sex. It's adult themes that involve romance, passion, and sex, but you're not doing anything. But that's why they pay you $1,000 a day because you sell the product. You're a beautiful 22-year-old girl. They need you.
No, so for people trying to break into verticals right now, you have a student that has booked 30 of them. What is that student's strategy for booking so many?
Oh, it's not that difficult. Okay. The good news is for verticals, unlike episodic TV and big films, you could literally shoot some pictures with your iPhone. You don't
Mm-hmm.
even have to run to a photographer and spend $500 to $1,000, $2,000. You literally can take certain shots. Like I have one lady I'm starting to coach. She goes, I want to do verticals. What do I need to do? Do I need to? I can't afford a big photo shoot. I say, no, what? Get your iPhone. We'll talk about some of the looks that you'll be going for. I said, your look, you're going to be going for doctor, 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 doctor. You're going to be going for rich husband's wife,
Mm-hmm.
debutante. You're going to be going for lawyer. So we'll get a couple of shots on your iPhone. You don't have to spend any big money. I said, demo tapes? She goes, I don't want to spend a lot of money on demo tapes. I said, no. We'll do a couple of monologues. You can even improv the monologue. Improv the monologue as a doctor. Improv the monologue as a lawyer. Improv. Then you're in business. Now you're starting to submit. You took some iPhone shots. Now, what I'm telling you now doesn't really hold for getting involved in big TV and big
Mm-hmm.
films and big episodes. But we're talking about verticals now. That will get you in the game. I had
Mm-hmm.
one student come to me about a year ago. No credits, no resume, no demo tape. She took 2 pictures on her iPhone. I'd say after a month, she had about 50 to 75 auditions.
Mm.
She was Middle Eastern, upscale. Doctor, doctor, surgeon, doctor, doctor, surgeon, doctor. 2 iPhone shots and no demo tape. She had 75 auditions, and she booked about 6 or 7 of them in a month. On verticals.
Very nice. Very nice.
I mean, come on. How much easier can it be? I mean, granted, you have to audition, and the
Mm-hmm.
auditions are usually a couple of lines, maybe a paragraph. You know, for what they're paying, they're not getting Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
For what they're paying, they're not getting Brad Pitt. You know what I mean? And they don't care. You know, the level of acting is not so amazing that people in China are going to go, oh, the acting sucks. They'll be like, oh, the story is sexy. Oh, this is sexy. This is
Yeah.
sexy. They're not going to judge the acting. So the acting has to be
Good.
acceptable.
Good. Yeah. And I've even noticed that right now, people don't really care about big names in verticals or micro dramas. They
Well, there
love the
aren't
good
any yet,
story.
but
Yes.
they'll be popping in. Tay
Yes.
Diggs, Kardashian. They'll be popping in. So problem is, they don't really have the budget for them right now.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
slowly, I'm sure when you put Tay Diggs in there, now all of a sudden the micro drama becomes more marketable, so they're willing to pay them. Uh, SAG is jumping in. They're all
Mm-hmm.
non-union right now. Okay,
Yeah.
SAG has put together a contract. Most of the Here's the negative part of it. Okay, the negative part of it, it pays pretty crappy for people like me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not the gorgeous girls. And a lot of times I negotiate because it pays so crappy. I usually say, before I can accept this low level pay, let me know where it shoots. If it shoots close to me, it might be something I would consider. Let me know if you would Uber me back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
and let me know if we can have a minimal amount of hours on the set. Because if you're going to pay me that low, I need to get a sense of I'm not going to be sitting there for 12, 15 hours. I'm not going to drive 4 hours. I'm not going to do that at this point in my life.
Yeah.
So I can negotiate. Half the time it works, half the time they tell me to take a hike. Okay? But SAG has come in and I think they almost completed his contract where it's going to be, I may be off by a few bucks, a 12-hour day, 450 and change. And
Yeah.
anything under 12 hours, 8 hours is like 250, 260.
That's a.
Which is more than what they're paying, but still a lot less. Like my daily rate on an episodic TV show is close to 12 to 1500.
Mm.
So for 456 for 12 hours is no bargain, but right now they're pretty much offering 150 to 200 for 12 hours.
Yeah.
But to be honest, SAG has like 8 people working in the office and they have like 8 zillion members. They're not running after people on verticals, okay?
Mm.
They're not chasing them down. But And I think a lot of verticals are not going to go union. They're going to say, why am I going to go union? I got to pay pension. I got to pay health. It's working fine. So I don't even know if it's really going to make much of a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, if you were to coach someone on this conversation trying to break into verticals, could you give them things they need to do to break into verticals?
They have to get a couple of shots done based upon their type. In other words, if I was starting out verticals, I wouldn't do demo tape as a leading man because I'm not going to be brought in as a leading man.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not going to be brought in as the sexy guy. I'm going to be brought in as the lawyer, the doctor, the dentist, the teacher, the grandfather. Everyone I play, I'm the rich guy.
Mhm.
I'm the rich older man. So like I have on my site, don't fight your type, master it. You gotta put the right pictures up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to spend huge amounts of money. You gotta put the right demo tape up. You literally can get away with a monologue. You don't even have to do big things for verticals. So I don't know if I answered all of them. Actors Access, number 1, put up some pictures 2, demo tape 3, and also have a coach. So when you get the audition, you show them you can act. They don't want to get somebody on the set that's gonna. That's some. Last one I did, I had about four or 5 scenes, and there was a lot of dialogue and a lot of movement, and there's a crew around you. So you can get nervous, even though it's a thing. There's the lighting, there's the client in the other room, there's the director. You have to be a professional. So you have to let people know that this is not some college kid filming it with his grandmother. This is a professional set. The last thing I did, they filmed it at a $55 million mansion in Bel Air.
Wow.
So pictures, demo tapes, a coach, and understanding what they are. They're 1 to 3 minute clips, like the last one I did, right? If I did a movie, you'd watch a 90-minute movie. If I did a TV show, you'd watch what I did is, I don't know, maybe they shot 3 hours. You're going to have clip 1, 1 minute, clip 2, 2 minutes, clip 3. And they're going to charge you like $1. They divide it into 1 minute clips.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's called verticals. It's shot, they say technically it's shot in portrait mode, not landscape. Meaning this is landscape. This is portrait.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is tighter. It's very different.
Yeah.
It's tighter. You're always supposed to shoot an audition in horizontal mode. You never shoot an audition like this. It has to be like this. But verticals are like this. So the frame is much tighter. It's much tighter.
Okay. And what are
but one last thing.
Yeah,
actors can now pay their rent. You don't have to drive for Uber. You don't have to drive for Lyft. You don't have to deliver food. You don't got a house sit. You can earn your money, your rent, as an actor. You know how tough that is to say? Are you going to get rich? No. But will you pay your car loan? Yes. Will you pay your rent? Yes. Will you have food on the table? Yes. As an actor. You know how hard that is to say?
Mm. And what are some of the biggest mistakes you've seen actors make as they try to work and get roles in the field?
Our biggest mistakes they make?
Yeah.
They don't understand how vertical has taken over. They think it's a joke. They're negative. It pays shitty. It's not professional. I don't want my image in China. It's a bunch of porno. It's non-union. Bunch of amateurs. Yeah, negative. I'm not going to work for that. Meanwhile, you're delivering a sandwich during the day. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm not going to work for that money. Meanwhile, you're walking dogs. They're negative. It's a trend. It's going to go away. It's like someone going, AI is just a fad. And let me tell you something. People should jump on this pretty soon because it won't be long until AI takes over verticals.
Yeah.
And then everything I'm saying is done. They'll do verticals for $10,000 with AI and they won't need us. So I would tell people, jump on because AI is going to wind up strangling that and taking that away from us.
Yeah. And I'll also say one more thing in addition to some of the negatives is you kind of see it as it's a new platform, right? So you shouldn't just like disregard it. At some point in time, take for example, modern day podcasting was very new. It was niche for a lot of people, but guess what? I started podcasting in 2014, and even then it was growing, but it was still kind of niche. Now we're in 2026. Almost everybody has a podcast.
Right, every star has a podcast. Yeah. Every movie star has a podcast. Everything is podcast.
Yeah.
Same thing's going to happen with this. A couple of huge stars will jump on, bigger than Tay Diggs, and next thing you know, you'll see Kevin Costner on one. You'll see DiCaprio, and it's I think it's heading in that direction. It really, I mean,
Yeah. Now, when it comes to acting in verticals, one of the biggest things we talked about this earlier was, it moves on tropes. So tropes are the driving engine. So you're a mafia boss, you're a billionaire, you're a werewolf, something like that. And then you have different emotional beats, whether it's revenge drama or enemies to lovers, etc. You talked about nobody can out Kent. So when it comes to like figuring out what's your trope and what's your type, you were talking about one of your students who's always the doctor, right? How can people figure out what trope works for them if they're trying to break into the space?
Well, usually they can't.
Okay.
That's why I've been coaching 18 years. That's why about 12 years ago, I really started emphasizing branding. I didn't even know what branding was. Then I started realizing, wait a minute, branding and understanding your type and marketing it. Mm-hmm. If you have this distorted image of yourself, then all your pictures will be wrong. Everything will be off. Okay? I mean, I know my type. I've been pounding it out for 40 years, but my type changed. In my 30s, I was the employee. In my 40s, I was the semi-boss. In the 50s, I was the boss. In the 60s, I'm the CEO. Now, close to 70, I'm the billionaire.
Yeah.
So my type has changed. But when you don't have a coach, you guess your type. And most people have a different vision of themselves. Well, and they're wrong. So if you're wrong in branding yourself, it's like, remember the old days when you took a standardized test, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like 1 through 100. If you put answer 1 where answer number 3 should be, everything after that's wrong because you have the wrong boxes. Yeah. If you brand yourself incorrectly, everything after that is wrong. So I recommend you work with a coach. It's one of my strong points. And it's not just for verticals. We brand you for TV. There's hundreds of streaming television shows right now. Hundreds of. I mean, come on. Paramount, Hulu,
HBO.
Prime, Netflix, Apple, HBO, Showtime. I mean, you better brand yourself correctly for those shows. Mm-hmm. I mean, I never really saw myself as a cowboy, right? In New York, Jewish guy. About 5 years ago, with all the Yellowstones on, I said, shit, I'm too stubborn. I got to get that cowboy thing going. So I branded myself a bunch of looks. I went to my photographer. Years later, I'm reading left and right for all those Yellowstone things because I understood that I needed to brand that look. So going with a great coach is really important when it comes to verticals. And everything I'm telling you for verticals kind of spills over to episodic TV and film, but it's a great way to get training wheels. Yeah. You know what I mean? To get your feet wet. I wish I would have had this when I moved out here. This is a gift. This is a gift from God for actors. But if you choose to look at it negative, then quite frankly, you're not being a good business person. If you choose to see all the positive of it, from being a side hustle to getting experience to making connections, and it goes on IMDb. Mm-hmm. And it says mini drama on it. That's a nice looking credit on IMDb. Then you get nice demo tape. Then you make a few bucks. Then you have fun. Then you meet people. I mean, come on. How could there be a negative part of it?
Yeah. Well, students, you've heard it from the coach himself.
No, Professor.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Professor. You've heard it from the professor himself. If you want to get into this fast-growing space, it's literally like 2 years old in North America. It's been around for much longer in Asia, but right now it's kind of like the ground floor of getting in. So if you want to get in, now is the time. Get your demo tape, learn from one of the
get in before AI takes it over, because AI is going to come in a few years and we're going to see all AI verticals, and people are going to look back going, damn, I could have jumped on that train.
Yeah, so you know what, there's a report from Vertical Drama Love, which is a fan site run by Jen Cooper, and they did a report, I think it was late last year, early this year, and it says some of the fans are actually trying to reject AI-only verticals or micro dramas, that they actually want to get to know the person acting, want to know that it's a real human being, and also want to preserve jobs too. Now, don't get me wrong, I know for the business reasons, producers and studios might lean to AI in the future. But I think for now, there's an opportunity where since the fans want people, they'll get people.
Yeah,
but of course,
and as great as AI is, you can almost smell an AI thing. You can almost smell it. And I think at this point, no, I mean, I coach comedians, I coach lawyers, doctors, dentists, and I added the whole vertical thing now too. People can contact me if they have an audition for a vertical, they need help. People can contact me if they need some branding for verticals. People can contact me if they want me to go over their scene or pictures. I don't know if you mentioned KentKasper.net. Kent with a K.
Not yet. So we're about to get into that.
Yeah,
so,
Kent with a K, Kasper with a K.net, and Kent Kasper Coach at gmail.com. Kasper with a K, not C. Kent Kasper.
What about social media? Are you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Kent Kasper Instagram. I'm on Kent Kasper Facebook. You can. I'm all over the place.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty easy guy to Google. Aren't that many guys like me? And I've been coaching 18 years. I got 500 testimonials. As you can tell when I talk about this, I'm not faking excitement. I mean, here's another thing. I don't audition for them anymore. I actually will send a letter telling them that I've been a working actor for 40 years. I have, dozens and dozens of credits, many, many tapes. I have a great body of my work. Feel free to contact me if you want to direct book me. Now, when I first started doing that, a couple actor friends of mine said, "What are you, crazy? You're not going to audition for them? What do you think, you're Brad Pitt?" I said, "No, but I've earned the right to do that at this point for verticals." Well, guess what? I haven't auditioned for a vertical in 6 months, and I've gotten close to 8 to 10 direct bookings because they look at my body of work and they send them my clips. I don't advise that for new people because they don't have anything to send.
You don't have the experience,
But if you're like me and you've been doing this 30, 40 years, I'll show you how to do it and get direct booking because I don't want to spend 4 hours prepping. I'll spend 5 hours prepping an audition for Samuel Jackson, but I'm not going to spend 5 hours prepping for a $175 job at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's great, everyone. So you heard what he said. If you want to reach out to him, KentKasper.net. You can find him on Instagram. You can find him on Facebook as well. Could you repeat your email one more time?
Oh, yeah. It's Kent, K-E-N-T, Kasper with a K, coach at gmail.com. Kent Kasper with a coach, gmail.com. Website, KentKasper.net. Remember, Kasper with a K. Instagram, Kent Kasper Coach. Remember, Kasper with a K. And Instagram, Kent_Kasper. I also got on LinkedIn. I also wrote a couple of books on Amazon. I wrote a couple of acting books on Amazon. You can get that too.
All right. So why don't you send me the link to your Amazon and I'll put it in the show notes for this podcast.
I'm telling you, LA is like a ghost town. Half the studios are empty. They're selling Radford. Paramount's buying Warner Brothers. And guess what? Next couple of years, you know Netflix is going to have a division of verticals. You know that all the big ones are having divisions of verticals.
Yeah. So basically, Kent's easy to reach. You can get him everywhere on social media. I'll put the link to his books. I'll put the link to his website. I'll put the link to his social media in the show notes. And then, of course, if you want to learn more about what we're doing at Vertical Film School, you can go to verticalfilmschool.com. Of course, this podcast is brought to you by Vertical Drama Jobs. It's a new job board that helps people get into the vertical drama space. So if you're looking for front office, mid office, if you're talent, cast, crew, and you want to find a job in verticals as well as auditions, go to verticaldramajobs.com and be sure to sign up to the talent registry over there. So with that said, everyone, thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Shane. Thanks a lot.